All right, y'all. What's going on? What's going on? Welcome back to your favorite WMMA show. Hashtag CB99 Talks, episode 218. Wow, man, it's been a month. It's been a month since I've done this show. That's crazy. I mean, I've been live. I've been live a few times throughout the month, but man, it's been a busy month, man. I can't believe it. I went back and looked, and I was like, when was the last time I jumped on here and did this show? And I was like, what? A month? Because let me see, I was live almost 10 days ago. Before that, 2 weeks ago, I did a live for the new card. And yeah, this show I haven't done in a month. Yeah, so it's good to be back, man. What's going on, y'all? What's up, Zach, Marcus, Two Beats? What's going on? Good to be back. I mean, there is some stuff to talk about now, too. I mean, part of the reason why I was gone was number one, I was busy. During this whole snow thing we had, work keeping me busy, really, really busy, work and just doing some other things. But really, yeah, that's what was keeping me just my schedule was filled throughout the week. I'm gonna be honest. And there weren't really that many WMMA fights. Like 2 weeks ago, we had this card, which yeah, I do want to talk about. That's why I had to wait so long too. I was like, that was the only fights we had. So yeah, we just had these fights, a few other fights before that. But it's another fight week, and we do got a couple going down. So I'm gonna be talking about those. Y'all see here. We got this rematch. I mean, Nora Cronole and Jocelyn Edwards rematch. I mean, I don't know why it's happening, but this Juju and Carly fight, Juju and Crispy, this gonna be a banger. I don't see it going the distance. Okay, so we're gonna talk about that, and I do want to go back and give y'all my take on these fights from 2 weeks ago. We got to talk a little bit about Wayne Cong, and we got to talk about Sygula, all of that, right? But there were a lot of underground fights. I know some of y'all don't watch like EFC or Cage Fury. Some of y'all do though. LFA, but I have to give these girls credit right here. Let's talk about these fights here just a little bit. I watched EFC like a couple weeks ago, and I know Marcus, he follows some of these girls. CFFC, LFA. These are some of the girls I've talked to online too. And I just keep up with because they're some of my fan favorites, but I just want to fill y'all in on some of these other fighters I follow. Um, Amy Scully, this girl right here, Amy Scully, fighting for EFC. She's an EFC strawweight champion. Shout out to Amy Scully. She's young fighter, 10-2, only 21 years old, but she already got 12 fights. She's a young strawweight on the come up. Um, she fights through Elite Fighting Championships, EFC. She's a strawweight champion over there, and she went in there and did work a couple weeks ago. Now, February 7th, got a good first round armbar over her opponent. I've been watching her for a while. She is tough. She's scrappy. She's got a good ground game. She's been working on her striking and her boxing, and this was just another one of those situations. She proved to be the better grappler. solid jujitsu, and she locked this girl's arm in. What's her name? Daniela Dobell. And I mean, it was just all around good grappling clinic from Amy Scully. Amy Scully was able to control that top position, just flatten out Dobell and get the side control position, then, just snatch up that arm and lock it in. It kind of reminded me like Aaron Blanchfield or somebody like that. So um just a young budding fighter, like I said, 12 fights, 21 years old, still a lot of room for growth in there. I know she would jump at the chance to be in the UFC, but I think, if she just continues to grow as a fighter and just keeps racking up the wins, you might see her in the UFC like in a couple of years or so. That really, like I said, there's no rush, but definitely a young fighter. I've been watching for a while. I think, she's from, I want to say Ireland. Yeah, 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 Ireland. Yeah, she's from Ireland. Yeah, definitely one y'all should check out. This other young girl right here, man, Japanese fighter, Arisa Matsuda. Arisa Matsuda, another one, man. I was just, at work, kind of flipping through fights, and these were some quick finishes too, and that's how I like it. These girls on the underground, they got to make a statement. And Arisa Matsuda, young, undefeated strawweight, another strawweight, 8-0. She goes in there, first round armbar. I mean, this was supposed to be a good test for her against this girl, Ayan Tursin, but she went in there, proved to be the better grappler, and she just locked that arm in just like that, man. So yeah, another first round armbar. She fought for Deep Jewels and was it Road to UFC? She fought on that Road to UFC card last year. Who's that girl she fought? Fang Shao Kahn. Yeah, she fought her last year. She was on that. Didn't get signed to the UFC. Went back and fought, for Cage Fury. Another fighter I think that you might see in the UFC at some point. With that Asian following. They signing a lot of Japanese and Chinese fighters, and undefeated, 31 years old. So at some point, you might see her in the UFC as well. And of course, you got my girl Mackenzie Stiller with her first round finish in LFA over Kendra McIntyre. Now, I thought the fight would have been a little bit more competitive because I remember Kendra McIntyre did knock out that one girl with the head kick, but Mac Judo, she ain't no joke, man. Mac Judo, she is not a joke, man. This girl, it's in them eyes too, man. She got them fight eyes, I like to say, man. She don't care who you are. She coming to scrap. And the thing I like about Mac Judo is she's improving. Like, she's about her judo, but her striking is getting better because that's the one thing that got her this submission. She landed a good leg kick on Kendra McIntyre in the opening round, and that kick put her down. And as soon as she put her down, she was on top of her. She was on top of her, and she locked that headlock in, locked that arm in, got that scarf hold arm lock, and yeah, I mean, just had Kendra McIntyre tapping. I mean, if you look at her face right here, you can see that pain. She was tapping as soon as she got that arm in, and she started extending. She was like, "I'm done, I'm done." So yeah, just it was a fun weekend. Like the weekend I was kind of snowed in. 2 weeks ago and last week there was a lot of fights. I was just kind of watching again on IG, and there was a few other fights on like UFC Fight Pass. I got to kind of go back and catch up on. But these girls right here, like I said, these are the ones you kind of got to watch out for. Mackenzie Stiller, Amy Scully, and how do I pronounce her name? Arisa Matsuda. Okay. 2B said, have you ever seen Caesar Azawa? I probably have. Let me look her up real quick because some of these girls I know by face. When they're usually like on the underground, sometimes I have to know them by face before the name. Like when they start scoring big wins or like nonstop finishes, or they become my must see TV beat. 2Bs, I'm talking about the must see TV fighters. So that's when I'll know them by name. Axel said, "Hey, will you be live for the Crispy Juju?" Oh yeah, 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 most definitely. We're gonna be live for that. I think it's at what, like 5 o'clock. So that's an early hour. I can jump on for that, and it's gonna be quick. It's gonna be quick. Marcus Bell said, "Yeah, I also had a chance to watch that Jackie Bouton fight. I gotta watch that. I know the result. I'm a little disappointed in Jackie, man. I'm disappointed in her, man. I thought she won the first fight, But this time around, it was much more decisive. Ah, man, Jackie Boone time. Uh, I know it was a banger. It had to be a banger, right? Oh yeah, Sika Ezawa. Oh yeah, yeah, the 18. Yeah, she's 18 and old. Yeah, she's a young buck. I seen a few of her fights. Rising fighter. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and look at some of her fight. Yeah. Claire Lopez. She beat my girl Claire Lopez. I talked to Claire Lopez before Two Beast. That's where I seen her. She fought Claire Lopez. Young fighter I've seen from Combate, hit her up before. I don't think she really speak English. That's why I've never done like an interview with her. But yeah, she choked my girl out. She choked my girl out a few years back. Ninja choke. I remember that one. But yeah, she's on a tear right now. So between her and Matsuda, those are some fighters to watch for. Those are some fighters to watch for. But really, I'm gonna probably do a video on this. I mean, some of these other fighters ain't just going to the UFC anymore. I mean, I don't know if y'all saw Shea Bowers and Shannon Clark. They both got signed to the PFL. Seemed like the PFL wanted them first. And to me, I was like, even though Shea Bowers in the UFC, she's ready for that. But like I've been saying, hey, Dakota needs some competition. I honestly think that Shea Bowers would be a little bit more competition for Dakota than I do Shannon Clark. Um, I actually think Shea Bowers got a big chance against Dakota, but that's another video. I'm gonna probably talk about at some point. But yeah, PFL they trying to pick fighters up now. They're building up their flyweight division. They got a lot of the former UFC fighters and some of these newcomers coming in. I believe they signed Dudakova. I know that's Marcus's girl. They just signed Dudakova. They just signed Dudakova too, because she's fighting Jacente Austin. So yeah, PFL is picking up some fighters. They're picking up some fighters here. Axel said, "Combo knows Claire Lopez. You probably know Delphine. I can't pronounce her name, but I definitely know her. She just fought. Oh man, she beat another one of my girls, man. She just beat my girl from England, man. What's her name? Lindsay. Wait a minute. Let me pull this up. Now I'm looking up some of these new fighters. Hang on one second. Delphine. Delphine. I'm thinking Delphine Pursoon, the boxer, but yeah, Delphine Beno. I can't pronounce that name, but yeah, I definitely seen her. I've been keeping up with her. Yeah, she beat my girl Lindsay Payne with a first round guillotine back in December. Yeah. Yeah, Axel. I was going look, I ain't gonna lie, man. I was going for I was going for Lindsay Payne because I talked to her online as well. It's like she's another fighter that if I get back into interviewing, I would definitely get her on. And I remember, yeah, she fought Ingrid Silva as well. So, oh yeah, I know Delphine, man. I know her. Ma Tua said, "What's good? What's going on, man? We just talking some women's mixed martial arts tonight. It's been a while. It's been about a month, so good to see y'all." Yeah, she beat my girl Lindsay Payne though. Yeah, Lindsay's pretty cool though. So you might see me get her on here at some point. But yeah, these are some fighters I've been looking at. If I know any more, I hit y'all up and let y'all know. But what was it? Not last weekend, right? Not this past weekend, but the previous weekend. I know I didn't get on and really talk to y'all about some of these other fights, right? I mean, we did have 3 WMMA fights, right? Couple of them delivered, but one of them wasn't really on that. I'm about to start with that fight first. Hold on, Marcus said I already have my early pick on Jocelyn Nunez. Oh, for Jocelyn Nunez and Carly. Okay, all right. But the previous weekend, like I said, I didn't give y'all my takes on these fights, but I'm gonna start with the worst fight first. Worst is first. I mean, let's get the worst out of the way. This was embarrassing right here, man. Look, I like Bruno Brazil and I do like Ketlin Souza's style, but these two right here, they made a terrible matchup. These two right here made a terrible matchup. I don't know what they were thinking. I mean, I know what the UFC was thinking here. The UFC was trying to make good matches because I think it was either Zach or something. He said a comment in one video or in the comment section. He said that, oh, the matches were good. I think that was Zach. He said like all the matches should be bangers. And for the most part, they were. But These two, it was their fault. It was their fault. This one was almost on the level of like Carla versus Rose 2 or something. I mean, there was a lot of holding. There was holding and running. There was running and holding up. I mean, Bruno Brazil, like, I ain't trying to laugh, man, but she was running. She was literally like turning her back to run out of harm's way, and that's something, man. Like, as a striking fan, as former boxer, like, you got to teach your fighter like footwork. Like, she's about her stand up game. Like, she throws a lot of kicks, but some of them are just like bad choices, man. Like, a lot of spin kicks for no reason. They're not even set up. But whenever like when Bruna was getting rushed by Ketlin, she would run instead of like pivoting. She would pivot. She wouldn't pivot. She would run. And when you run, you still giving that person a chance to back you into the cage or hit you with a clean right hand once their reach clears. But if you just continue to run like that, you're not really frustrating your opponent because eventually, they'll crowd you. And that's what Ketlin Souza was doing. She crowd her, but even her, like her crowding wasn't doing nothing. To me, it was like, you holding. What you doing here? You holding, but you ain't throwing elbows. Yeah, those step in knees were like the best part. And when the first round started, I was like, okay, we about to get a fight. When I saw those step in knees, I was like, we about to get a fight because they were on point. She was cracking. She was catching Ketlin Souza to the gut. Every time she step in, boom, she'd catch her with the knee. But then she just abandoned it. She just abandoned and let Souza hold her. But even when she was getting held, like there was no tie clinch. There was no tie clinch. There was no elbows, pushing off, elbow to the neck, push this girl off you. I wasn't getting none of that. Ketlin Souza, on the other hand, brawler, but she turned into a holder. And I'm being harsh on this fight because they had the skills, they had like the ability to go in there and get a finish or make it for a good fight. But Bruna Brazil, like her whole thing was to shell up when she got overwhelmed or try to run instead of standing her ground. And that's where becoming a well-rounded fighter comes into play, man. Because if she wanted to, she could have got some takedowns just to get her off of her. And that's why I say, like, I got to give Manofio more credit as like a stand-up fighter from the karate background. Is whenever a fighter crowds her, she knows how to create space or throw them off. But Bruna's not using her size, man. She can't fight like a big girl. So yeah, I just thought there was a lot to critique in the fight. And that's how it usually is with a bad fight. Like, there's a lot to critique, man, because like I just didn't see Bruna Brazil use her size or set up head kicks, even use her hands. Like her boxing is not that good. Ketlin Souza's hands wasn't really that good either. They really wasn't that good. Zach said those step in knees from Bruno were nasty. Yeah, they were. They were. Those were some good knees. That was like her best part that she used in the first round. Then she abandoned it. Marcus said, "Yep, didn't help that Bruno ran." Axel said, "It looks like Bruno's only technical and really lacks strength and condition." I think so. Like her thing is to pick technical shots, but after a while, when you start to muscle her, she kind of fades. Zach said Bruno was successful when she advanced. She just stopped advancing. Yeah. 2B said they were in love. They couldn't stop showing their affection for each other on the cage. I mean, that's what it looked like. They kept holding. They were just holding. Like, Herb Dean had to break them at least like 4 times in this fight. To me, the minute they grabbed a hold of each other, 5 seconds tops. 5 seconds. I won't even give it like a minute because that's wasting every single round and wasting the crowd's time. Frankman, what's going on? He said Ketlin Souza's worst fight so far. It is, definitely. I didn't expect that from her style, but that definitely don't make her look like a threat. I definitely would have somebody like Fatima Klein beating her. Yeah, Bruna started off strong, but she failed, man. Matua said at least Souza showed up in the third round to solidify that win. Yeah, she did. Kind of like Natalia Silva, right? She showed up in the final round and she did put on a little something, but it was like Bruna didn't get the point that she was behind, you know. Axel said Delphine is coached by Nicholas Art. He is the coach of BSD, and I'm a mom for for us, the victory of Delphine against that British girl was not a surprise. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I kind of figure, they had her on lock for that one, but I was rooting for Lindsay, man. Yeah, Sousa's on team E. Oh, Sousa's on team E boss now. Mm. Oh, she trained with her? I didn't know that. Or do you just mean she team E boss as far as out? No, but seriously, Bruna's got work to do. Bruna's got a lot of work to do, and so does Ketlin Souza. I mean, Ketlin, I thought she was on to something, but the last couple fights, even that fight with Angela Hill really wasn't a good look. But Bruna, she's got the size, but she just don't have that striking prowess. Kind of like I know I'm not well, I don't not, but I know we all kind of know what Marina Rodriguez was. We, always fall into getting taken down. But at least Marina Rodriguez, she had some wins. Like she was a real good striker. I mean, when you take her down, that was it. And she did go on a good win streak. Like Marina was tall and long, and maybe not even as big as Bruna, right? She wasn't as thick as Bruna Brazil, but she still had them hands. Like she had hands to get her all the way to the top. Like I think Marina would have beat somebody like Ketlin Souza. I think she would have knocked her out. She would have been throwing the right hand down the pipe and land the knees to the body, and her tie clinch was fierce. So Marina Rodriguez, I can give her more credit. Like tall, slim fighter, but she used to put on some striking clinics. I think somebody like Bruna, that's what she needs to really work on, is just like her overall stand-up game. Yeah, okay, Ebos. Oh, Ebos' dad is a coach. Okay, got you. Yeah, there's a lot she needs to work on, man. Okay, yeah, this fight. Almost forgot about this one. And this was a good opener. What'd y'all think of this fight? Claudia Sygula versus Priscilla Cachoeira versus Zombie Girl. This was a good opener. I picked Claudia Segula in this one. I actually picked her by submission because I figured that, if she's got a better ground game, she's going to set it up, and she's just going to drown Zombie Girl. Just drown Zombie Girl, and that be it. Submit her, choke her out, get her out of there. But she kind of impressed me here. Her last couple fights, her striking wasn't the best, but this fight here, it turned out to be a pretty good stand-up fight. I like Claudia's jab. She was really fluid with it, just pumping the jab out, sticking the jab out in Cachoeira's face. But Cachoeira had a good jab. Her jab was harder, stiffer, but she was throwing a lot of singles, even like her leg kicks, like good leg kicks on Segula, but stingy. Excuse me, yeah. Cachoeira just throwing those single leg kicks, one at a time, one right hand at a time. And when I saw Segula take a couple of shots and she was still standing, I was like, "Oh yeah, this girl's pretty sturdy. Like I don't think she's going anywhere. She probably gonna win this fight, or she might get caught and get slept. But overall, she kept Cachoeira on the back foot. She kept her on the back foot, good angles, just pumping that jab out. What's going on, Tay Tay? Good to see Tay Tay in the building. What's up? Montua said, I picked Cachoeira to KO in the first. Segula did great. She improved. Oh, wow. I mean, a knockout in the first would have been kind of like, okay, I expected that. Maybe if that was Segula like a couple of fights ago. But yeah, she actually gotten better, if you can say that. Yeah, because Melissa Mullins, I believe that was a fight she lost. Her stand-up game looks well, I won't say like great, but she's getting there. But I guess to me, I was impressed by the jab, because even some of your better fighters, they don't jab. You know what I mean? Like Tay Tay, no, some of these girls be stingy with the jab. Rose be stingy with the jab sometimes. Some of these girls at the high level don't jab enough for me. But just to see Claudia jabbing and just busting up Priscilla Cachoeira with that jab, I was like, yeah, there we go. Just keep that jab in the girl's face. And she was just using a lot of combinations. And Cachoeira she just can't catch a break. Cachoeira can't catch a break. She's just one of those fighters that I don't see any growth with her, man. I just don't. I know some people thought, oh, she going to train with Amanda Nunes. You see her train with Amanda, or she rolling, she striking. You can train with the best, man, but if you ain't got the heart and you just ain't ready to go, uh, you know, it don't matter who you train with. You could train with the greatest fighters in the world, man. But if you just can't change, you just stuck in the same gear. It don't matter. It don't matter. And in my opinion, like Amanda's definitely one of the greatest fighters, but I never thought of her as one of the best trainers. That's just my opinion. Like even when she was in that tough house, I thought Pena was a better trainer. All right. Like now hear what I'm saying. I'm not knocking her resume as a fighter. She's definitely one of the greatest fighters. But when it comes down to training, they're two different things. And I never really seen a man as like this great trainer. I mean, I just haven't. And it showed. Because I think to be a great champion, you got to be selfish sometimes. And I don't think you put your all into a fighter sometimes. Like I think that I don't know personally, but I'm just saying, like, when a fighter is a champion, you don't give your best secrets away, or you just don't give that person that whole, you don't give them all of you. So I think if you do train with a champion, you just got to watch them. Don't expect them to give you pointers on everything. Somebody like Pena, yes, Pena, Misha Tate, they were good trainers. I thought they did a good job of like investing in a fighter and kind of being motherly, or however you want to put it. Like they were good encouragers. Yeah, Montua said, yeah, Pena is a better communicator in English. Yeah. I think they took more time to I think they kind of like they felt I think Pena felt like a sense of accomplishment when she trained somebody and they were winning. Cause yeah, when Juliana Pena was like cheering Juju on, Juju was like a better fighter. Like I think that's who Juju needs now, is that she needs Pena as a full-time trainer. You know, even some of them fighters on her team, they need somebody like Juliana Pena. They would need Pena, in their corner at all times because I think she's just on another level. But I think if you train with the champion, man, you just got to watch them. You just got to watch them and kind of see how they move. I don't think a lot of these great champions are necessarily like great communicators like that. I mean, some are, but best fighters I've seen in the world, they're just the best fighter. And they're the best for a reason because a lot of them are selfish. And that's just how it is. Like, if you want to win, like, you gotta be selfish. Yeah, Mike said Juliana is a way more articulate. Articulate. Yeah, she is more articulate than Amanda. As a trainer, definitely I see different. Yeah. Axel said Priscilla is a Dana favorite. She's there for the brawl and the bar fight for the pleasure of the casuals. Yeah, whether she getting knocked out or knocking somebody out. Franklin said, I hope Misha considers commentating after she retires. Her commentating is underrated. Yeah, she was a good commentator. Misha was a good commentator. I've seen her One FC. Yeah, she used to be on One FC. Wonder why she gave that up. Tay said, I don't see Priscilla beating anybody in the top 10 or top 15. She's just trash. Tay, I mean, hey, she ain't, I mean, the resume speaks for itself. The resume speaks for itself. We can't disagree at all. Like, she is not an MMA fighter. She's in the cage fighting, but she's not an MMA fighter like that. She could be a bare knuckle boxer. She could be a bare knuckle boxer, but she is not an MMA fighter. She shows up at an MMA matchup, but she's not a MMA fighter. Montua said, which women fighters be generous with the jab? I'll say one is Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Exactly. I agree 100%. Jacqueline Cavalcanti, I love that girl. Like technical stand up is on point, but she be stingy. Sometimes she kind of stingy with knocking some girls out too, because I know she has the ability to knock a girl out, but yeah, she's a little stingy with the jab. Franklin said Rose uses her left jab often though. She's been using it a little bit more now at flyweight, like in that Tracy Cortez fight. Um, I guess I'm looking at that level of like Joanna, when it's just like pumping and you faster than somebody. That's kind of how I look at it sometimes. Yeah, Priscilla's not even a gatekeeper at this point. Frankman says she's definitely a UFC gatekeeper. Yeah, she ain't even a gatekeeper. She's just like the go-to for action. Yo, well, BJ, what's going on? BJ in the building. What's going on? BJ from No Filter MMA. We talking Sygula and Zombie Girl. We talking Sygula pasting up Zombie Girl, pasting her up with the jab, like I like. So yeah, I thought this was a good opener, man. I just think it kind of lacked the finish, but I think this should be, if I'm looking at a person's well-being, this should be the, Franklin said, the stepping stone. Yeah, she's definitely the stepping stone. But I think this stone need to be tossed now. I ain't being mean. I'm just saying, like, this, this you gotta skip this rock now. You know how you skip a stone? This one might need to go ahead and skip over to BKFC. Go ahead and toss this to the BKFC because there's some fights out there I think she could win, but this ain't working. This ain't working because even girls on the lower level are starting to just get wise to her power. Because her power, to me, Andrade is a little bit scarier than Zombie Girl. Y'all agree with that? Y'all agree with that, right? Andrade is 5'1", tiny, but Andrade scares me more than Cachoeira. Like Cachoeira, her aura, it left a long time ago. Her excitement's still there because she gets knocked out. But when it comes down to like her being scary, it's just not there. Like I don't always get that vibe. Oh yeah, she gonna knock somebody out. Oh yes, it's there. Andrade is scary. Andrade, she can choke you standing up. She got hard leg kicks. She got them hard overhand rights. Yeah, BJ, her power just doesn't translate to bantamweight. That Ariane Lipsky knockout don't last. That don't count. The Ariane Lipsky knockout don't count. Okay, Lipsky knockout don't count. They Somebody missed weight and that's it. And Lipsky had no business at 135. Yeah, Andrade to me is scary. Frankman said Priscilla could be a BKFC champion. Not many girls over there got hands like her. I think she could win a lot of fights, but I think if it comes down to her and Christine Ferry, I think Christine Ferry still knocks her out. I think she'll get to that point. Like that would be the fight to make. Her and Christine Ferry at yeah, Frankman said only good hands. Like, yeah, only got hands, yeah. And there's a little bit more technique behind Christine Ferry. I mean, when you go back to how she landed that right hand and broke Borg's nose, you could hear that crack on Jessica Borg's nose. Shoot. Montua said there's that new Andrade fighter coming out of the Contender Series. Oh, yeah, Carol Foro. Yeah. Yeah, she's another one. Like, Carol Foro is fighting. Hold on, let me check. I just saw it. Because her and that Chanel Dyer fight was good, man. I thought she was about to knock Chanel Dyer out, man. I was like, oh, snap. Stephanie Luciano, March 28th. That's going to be a good matchup. Stephanie Luciano versus Carol Foro, March 28th. That's going to be a good fight. Yeah. Yeah, she's not beating Christina Ferry, I don't think. Like, I could see some knockdowns, but yeah. Yeah, Jessica still got the power. She just ain't got the skill set. But there's something about Jessica still kind of scary compared to Priscilla. But it's starting to leave too. It's starting to leave too. Casey O'Neal's on that card too. Oh, okay. Against who is she fighting again? Yeah, Gabby Fernandez. Okay, yeah, that's right. Dang, yeah, that fight card's about a month away too. Dang, fight's coming up on us. All right, so I think that Sygula is on the move. She still need to fight some unranked fights. Maybe like her and Chelsea Chandler or something like that. That would be a good fight at this point. Sygula, Chelsea Chandler. I can't think of any other unranked girls. What happened to that girl Kennedy Freeman? Oh, Kennedy Freeman. I think she's got an injury. I think she had to have surgery. They just signed her too. Mm. Well, we'll see. We'll see about that. But yeah, I think that Zombie Girl, her days are about up though. Seriously, they are about up. Tay Tay said, only person I see have a chance beating Christine Farid is Helen Peralta. Oh yeah, Helen Peralta. Yeah, Helen Peralta's pretty cool. I talk to her, every now and then. I talk to her every now and then. Um, Tried to invite me to one of her bare knuckle matches before. I think it was bare knuckle match or MMA fight. Yeah, Helen Peralta, she's all right. Remember, she was acting up on that Tough House though, man. But yeah, she's pretty cool. So that would be one fight I think I would root for Helen in. I mean, it would be a war, but I gotta root for Helen in that fight. Oh, Helen Peralta, yeah, yeah. Uh oh, Let's talk about this catch weight fight. Yeah, I gotta put it out there like that. This should have been a solid flyweight fight. Well, it was kind of a flyweight fight, right? I mean, they both missed weight, like a pound apiece. So as long as that even the playing field, yeah. Wayne Kong, she did a lot better than I thought. I don't want to hear anybody say, look, and I'm not even like this huge Wayne Kong fan, but look, I don't want to hear anybody say, oh, Wayne Kong got exposed or Wayne Kong got fraud checked or anything like that. Wayne Kong did all right. To me, Wayne Kong did all right in this fight. This is what I wanted to see in a fighter. I wanted to see her tested. The same way y'all try to disrespect Natalia Silva, say, oh, she ain't fought nobody, she ain't been tested. All right. Wayne Kong is getting tested. You see in her ground game now. You seeing her make adjustments now. So you see her make these mistakes now. When she gets to the top, you'll see her look even better, right? So that's what I've been saying. That's what I've been saying this whole time is I want to see her fight a ground fighter. I want to see somebody that's big, strong. I wanted to see her in Montana fight bad. I really wanted to see that fight when she got signed. I wanted to see her wrestle. But this was even better because, she's fighting a big prime fighter here, somebody strong and young. But yeah, to say like she looked bad in this fight, to me, no, like I think she was in for a gritty match and she showed the dog in here. She showed some dog. She showed another level here. The way she survived the second round and the way she turned the third round around, I think she showed some good skills here. I think, there's a couple of things as far as her stand up, like she's still dependent on power. Got a good right hand to the body. She's throwing that right hand to the body. Uh, she's got sneaky power still because she did drop Eduardo Moura. But I think that, again, she might be a fighter that's a little stingy with the jab. I know Montua said Jacqueline Cavalcanti. I think Wayne Kong might be a little stingy with the jab, right? I might put her on that list. She's a little stingy with it. And the thing is, she's another fighter, man. If she throws that jab out, she can knock somebody out with the right, just like that. When I saw her land that right hand, I was like, oh, yeah, she going to get the finish. But then she jumps on Moura instead of letting her stand back up and getting the finish. And then the second round goes left and Moura out grapples Wayne Kong. But how did Moura lose that rear naked choke though? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, how did she lose that rear naked choke that she had locked in? Wayne Kong got up out of that. I was like, dang, okay. But that third round was the decider for me. And I was like, okay, what we going to see from either fighter here? I think Wayne Kong, she was landing some nice punches on the inside. And a lot of the strikes she was landing did damage to Moura and busted her up pretty good. And I think it was a combination of her gassing herself out and, her nose being busted that made it hard to breathe. By the time, that coming up on that third round, towards like the mid part of it, she was gassing out. And Wayne Kong looked like she was about to get a choke. Yeah, cardio. Mixture of cardio. Yeah, because at first I thought it was weight, which it probably was. Like when she started trying to fight at 115, I was like, Mora's too big for 115. But now she's at 125 and she carrying a lot of muscle too, so she's got to work on her cardio because she did gas. Like it's either she's gassing clearly or she's pushing herself too hard. Like a lot of her grappling exchanges just seem so fast paced and physical. Like she doesn't have full control like Aaron Blanchfield. Like when Aaron's getting the girl down, I don't see Aaron like huffing and puffing. Like Aaron can lay you out like a blanket and just pin you down like she did Rose a few times. Like when she had Rose or some of these other girls down, she's got you laid out and she's got full control of you, but Moura seemed like she's really working. Like all of these rounds, she's really pushing too hard. She keeps pushing and pushing. So it's like, wait, slow it down some. And then you see her breathing hard during these exchanges. So yeah, it's cardio issues. I mean, if she's gonna push that hard, you got to have the cardio to do it. You know. BJ said, listening while getting some things done. I'll pop in when combo gets sketchy. Uh-oh. He said he'll pop in. Oh, well, we won't be talking about Casey O'Neal's fight tonight, but we will talk about Aaron. Well, not Aaron, but we'll talk about Natalia here in a minute. So you might want to stay tuned here. Frankman said Aaron is the second best wrestler in the flyweights. Robot said Moura. What's going on, Robot? He said Moura got something she needs to work on, that cardio. I hate seeing women bloody in fights. She needs to work on that or stay stagnant. Oh, man. Yeah, Tay said too much muscle mass can slow you down. Yeah, she's just got I think her pace is too intense, especially when you carrying that weight. So that's her thing. Like she needs to move forward a little bit, maybe lose some weight and move forward a little bit with like a more patient approach to grappling. Yeah, that's just some of the things. Yeah, I seen with her. I think she needs to fight down though. I think she needs to fight down. Maybe fight some unranked fights. Maybe fight the winner of Juju and Crispy. Oh man, if Crispy win that fight this weekend, shoot, Crispy versus Eduardo Moura, it might be lights out. I'm just saying. Yeah, I think that would be doable for her, like fight an unranked fighter. Oh, Wayne Cong did call out. Wayne Cong did call out Tracy Cortez, another wrestler. I like that. That's okay. Yeah, we could do that, right? Wayne Cong, Tracy Cortez. Cortez coming off a loss. Wayne Cong moving up. We meet in the middle, right? So I think that's a good fight for Wayne Cong. Might be a dangerous fight for Tracy Cortez, but definitely a fight where I think Wayne Cong's earned, another step up and another experienced wrestler. Somebody that can take you down. It'll kind of test her. And I think that's what Wayne Cong is looking for. Wayne Cong's looking for a test. That's why she called for another wrestler. She probably wants to work on her ground game. So I respect that. What's going on? Beto Inca. I'll just put it right. He said, I just found your channel last month. I'll pull up to the live streams when I can. Oh, yeah. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, anytime. Tomorrow night at 7:30 with BJ from No Filter MMA. Be live then. And then I'll be live for the Fight Companion on Saturday. Yeah. So good to have you. Hope you subscribe. Hope you subscribe so you know when I am live. But yeah, definitely every other Tuesday, starting tomorrow is when I'll be live with the mashup show. Frankman said Crispy's fighting Juju, not Eduardo Moura. Oh yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like if she beats Juju, that would be a good fight. Mark said looks like the key to beat Moura is to have good takedown defense and making Moura work to get a takedown. As the fight goes on, she'll slow down due to cardio. Right. Yeah, because if you take her out into like the second or third round and you work her, it's pretty much almost like she's done, So yeah, those fights were pretty good the previous weekend. They were. Only fight, I was pouting about was that Bruno Brazil and Ketlin Souza, man. So they need to recover from that one. This weekend, let me see. We got this rematch. I mean, I don't really I don't really want this rematch, but hopefully it delivers. I mean, I know Nora Cornell is a scrapper. I think she's coming off a loss, right? I know she beat Haley Cowan by a submission, but then she came up short against who did she lose to? Was it Cavalcanti again? Yeah, she lost to Cavalcanti. No, she lost to Kel Rosa. She lose to Kel Rosa. All right, lose to Kel Rosa, and they make this rematch. Jocelyn Edwards, she's on a little tear right now. Jocelyn Edwards first fought Nora Cornell, let me see, almost 3 years ago. Let me pull that up. Yeah, okay. Yeah, after that fight that she lost, she loses to Eileen Perez. So she lost 2 times in a row, but since then she's bounced back with 3 wins in a row. So that's kind of a good position for her. But I think maybe it's because they kind of want to test her again and see where Jocelyn Edwards stands because Jocelyn used to kind of have them patterns, but she's been waking up lately. I mean, she's kind of been fighting with some aggression and better counter skills. Like she's really been sitting down on her shots and really going for that finish now. And I think that this is probably the fight where you would have her meet in the middle again because now Jocelyn Edwards is 14 and Nora Cornell is 12. So I think that's like the only doable fight right now because Jacqueline Cavalcanti shooting for higher. Myra Whitney Silva you know, ain't really much of a win at bantamweight right now, right? So I'm just trying to make sense of the rematch, but I think the fight will be good. I think because Jocelyn Edwards, since last 2 years, she has made some improvements, and she will be looking for some get back. So she better fight to finish in this one. She better fight to finish. Franklin said they got to give Jocelyn top 10 fighters after this. Yeah, if she finishes Cornell, they got to give it to her. Or if she just beats Cornell, it's time to move on. Yeah, they did book Pierre Rodriguez and Sam Hughes. I saw that. hmm I was thinking they might do Sam Hughes and Fatima Klein at one point. That would have been good. But yeah, this rematch, I think it's going to be a stand up battle. I do. I think that Cornell's going to try to push the action, but I think it's on Jocelyn Edwards to be the counter striker here. Like she has been in her past few fights, but she's got to stand her ground here and she can't be lazy, man. Like I think Cornell might be the fighter that tries to get this fight to the ground. I think she would be the one to try to get this to the ground. So Edwards needs to be on her stand-up game here, countering, landing knees. If Cornell tries to step in, Cornell can get a little sloppy, because she likes to dog it out. So Jocelyn needs to just keep it clean. I need keep it clean, but at the same time, make them shots count. Because sometimes when she starts to just pose and take pictures, man, that's when fighters start piling up points, or they start taking her down and drowning her. So just need to see her mix it up in this one. I think Jocelyn might take this one though. I think she might take this. Franklin said my money's on Sam. That girl can scrap. Yeah, Sam's a good fighter. I like Sam. Yeah. That first fight with Pierre Rodriguez was close. I remember that fight though. Yeah, that one was close. But yeah, this one here I don't have much to say on because the first one was a decent fight, but as far as significance, I don't know. I think it'll probably just earn somebody a top 10. I think I will go with Jocelyn this time. I think she's been looking better. And I think she'll figure out Cornell this time. She's got to with all that experience, man. But the fight that I'm looking forward to is the opener, actually. We got Juju and Crispy. Shout out to Crispy, with that interview we did over at BJ's channel, Carlos Judice, she's pretty cool fighter, pretty, just straightforward, down to earth. And, just kind of having a conversation with her about, what's been going on in her career. She just open, just chill. And I was glad the conversation just kind of went that way when we did the interview over there on BJ's channel because some of these other interviews they can just be kind of basic and very cardboard. And I ain't really about those type of interviews where you just asking the same old questions or asking stupid questions. What is her name? Farah Hanan for MMA Junkie. She probably, I would say, does some of the best interviews. Like when it comes to, major platforms on MMA. I think, she does some of the better ones. Um, okay, Robot side got Edwards by a finish. Axel said Cornell was in shape for this fight. Frankman said biggest test of Juju's career. She hasn't looked good at all since she signed off on Tough. Robot said Juju's a sweetheart. I hate this fight for her. I think Crispy handles business. Yeah, I do like Juju. But yeah, I'm gonna be honest too. I definitely didn't think she looked good in her debut. Was it her debut? Yeah, because she lost her debut, right? No, wait a minute. She won the title she won that Tough championship against Brogan. But like her debut against Veronica Hardy, that was a big step up for her, man. Like fight Veronica Hardy, somebody with experience like that. She loses that fight, and then she gets stopped against Lorna Santos. It was almost like when she didn't have Pena in her corner, she started losing. But that Petrovic fight, I did pick Petrovic because I was like, oh man, I think Juju might be out the door here. But she saved her. She saved her career. She bounced back. Right now, she's do we count that Brogan fight as a UFC fight? Yeah, I guess we do. So she's 2-2 right now. And her losses to me were a little bit harder. Whereas Carly is 2-2. Or no, 2-1. Because she lost her contenders fight, but then she got signed. Then she loses to Gabby. But those fights were close. They were real close. And she bounced back with 2 knockouts. So you can see like the development in Carly's skill set. I think Carly's a little bit more sharper on what she wants to do in there. And not that she's just confident, because I think Juju's confident, but she's just not as polished. I think Carly's a little bit more polished, especially who she's training with. She's training with Rose Namajunas now. So I think when it comes to her stand-up game and just like even her overall MMA training, she's getting a better look. And, she's in a better corner. She has better camp, if you will. And she's also bringing in just like her grit and intensity. Like Carly hadn't really like lost a fight. You know what I mean? Like she's never really like lost bad. Like Gabby Fernandez was close. That Kara Scotty fight was close. Both of those fights were close. But you could still see like Crispy was coming in there to fight. Like when I first saw her fight, I was like, dang, this girl's tough. She's tough. Like she looked like an experienced fighter. She looked experienced. Even when I seen her fight a few times before that, I was like, okay, yeah, she's experienced. But yeah, when I really seen her in that Contender Series fight, she was only 3-0. I think she took that fight on late notice, right? That was a late notice fight. And she looked good. She put on a show. And she looked confident. Yeah, Marcus said Juju's a little green, but Judice may have been green, but she fought with a little bit more like experience, just like, okay, she's trained, she's born to do this. It's that type of thing. Her first 3 fights were finishes. She finished her first 3 opponents and then lost 2 close fights, went back on her knockout streak. So when you really just kind of match these two up, Juju's a good grappler. And, she likes to throw hands and tries to fight and brawl, but I just don't think she's polished enough to hang with the counters or even just the straight, accurate punches of Crispy. Because we talking about somebody who's 5-2, all knockouts. That style matched up with Juju, who's a little bit more reckless. come forward pressure style just kind of spells for like a stoppage, you know? I hate to say that too, because yeah, robot. I like Juju. I do. I think she's a all right fighter, and I like the fact that she's tough, and she wants to get better. But I just think yeah, this kind of one of them style matchups, man. It's like the what fight was that? I guess it was kind of like Mackenzie Dern and Andrade. I thought Mackenzie had a chance, but once you just run in with your chin straight up, man, Andrade is just, she'll catch you. It's kind of like one of those matches where you're like, oh yeah, this person is wide open for it. But I'm hoping for a surprise. I'm hoping for a surprise. I want a good fight, but at the same time, I like to see Crispy go in there and get a highlight. Get a highlight finish. Frankman said Crispy has been training with Rose and she's mimicking Rose's footwork. Juliana will more than likely get pieced up until she makes major changes. Yeah, she's definitely going to be mimicking that, and the overall like timing is going to be similar because she came in with that type of striking style. I think it was a little similar to Joanna, but I think she's kind of polishing it off to be a little bit more like technical, like Rose a little bit. So yeah, this should be a good fight. Yeah, Juju does commentary. Yeah, she does do commentary on fights. She's decent at that. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Crispy in this one. So I'm gonna go with Edwards and Pantera and Crispy. I'm gonna go with Edwards and Judice. What about y'all? Who do y'all got? So yeah, those are the fights coming up this weekend. What else do we got going on the schedule here? I want to talk about. Oh yeah, two more things here. Well, not really too many big ones here, but I know April. Is it April 18th? Yeah, this announcement came in the other day. I found out a little bit early. What y'all got? Okay, I got Cornell and Judice. Axel said, okay. All right. Okay. If y'all want to put y'all's picks in, go ahead. But until then, what do y'all think of this matchup? April, to be said, he got Edwards and Crispy too. Okay. April 18th, we got wrestler versus jiu-jitsu practitioner. We got Jasmine Jazz the Vicious taking on Karine Silva. All right. Back in action. Back in action. Jasmine returning after the October knockout loss to Manon. Karini's returning after the December loss to Macy Barber. You know what gets me about this fight is like, it's not even the matchup. Like, I like the matchup, but you make the losers of these fights, but you don't make the winners fight. The matchmakers dropped the ball on this one. Y'all shouldn't have given Macy Barber Alexa Grasso. Y'all match up the losers. Loser to the Manon fight, loser to the Macy fight. I'm gonna keep bugging y'all with this one because it just upsets me because now it kind of messes up the ranking matchups a little bit. You can't get new matches now. Like now that you're making Grasso and Aaron fight again, you're probably going to have to make Manon and Grasso and Macy fight again. Right? You got Grasso and Macy fighting for a second time. Now you're probably going to make Aaron and Manon fight again. So I'm just like, come on. I wanted to see like the winners, losers fight. To be said, maybe Kareem by submission due to Jasmine choosing to wrestle her. Possible, depending on how strong Jasmine, her wrestling is and her control. When it comes to the striking of these two, I think it would probably like even out. Both of them make a lot of the same mistakes, and I think both of them are kind of improving at the same pace when it comes to their punches. Jasmine's really just been kind of getting a hold of like being a little less reckless. Karina is still like spamming soccer kicks. I don't know. Axel said I got Jazzy. Okay. Yeah, okay. Mike Lee said Macy's scared of Manon. Yeah, I don't see too many people calling out Manon like that. Like she's in the top spot. Like, yeah, like go for it. Like somebody want to fight her. Like I want to hear Macy say, hey, let's get that girl out of the way. She lost to the bullet. Like let me get her a spot. I don't even hear that. I mean, I even heard Grasso say, hey, I want to test my skills and get back into the top spot. Let me fight her next. No. At least Jasmine did. At least Jasmine did, but we saw how that went. But yeah, I think this one here is going to kind of balance itself out when it comes to mistakes, in the same level of growth in the stand-up game. I think that they'll both stand in the same range and catch each other at times with shots. So I think the stand-up exchanges will be kind of even here. Because to me, neither one is really better than the other when it comes to their stand-up game. I can't really say that. Maybe Kareem's a little bit. I don't know. What do y'all think? Because to me, like the first few fights in the UFC, Karine wasn't the best, like that good of a striker against some of these girls, even like against Lipsky or Rujo. Um, she looked decent against Marina Moreau, who's a boxer. She did drop Marina Moreau, but she's definitely not on this scary level of striking. Same thing with Jasmine. Like Jasmine, I think she could hit harder and be a little bit uh, authoritative with her striking, but I think she likes to brawl a little bit. And like I said, it kind of leaves them open to be more into exchanges, those type of fighters. So I think where it really gets interesting is when it gets to the ground. And that's where the question comes into play. Like I said, stand up game. If they chose to both stand up in this fight, I don't know who would win the fight. I'm gonna be honest. If they were both standing in this one for 3 rounds, I couldn't call it. I really couldn't call it. But if it goes to the ground, that's where it gets interesting. I can tell you, like, if Karina gets on her back, she'll be comfortable. She'll be a lot more comfortable and she'll look for that arm. She'll look to get that guard high, just isolate that arm. And next thing you know, Calf is hitting the chin of Jasmine and she's extending. I could see Jasmine using her strength and her wrestling to control rounds. And then even using ground and pound to get a little dirty. Like she's got that dirty element to her. So, Jasmine's going to get gritty. So I think the fight on the ground, if it went this way with the submission, I'd be like, okay, I could see that. Jasmine controlling top with ground and pound, I could see that. But can't really call this the can't really call the stand up. I think the stand up will be interesting since they both don't have defense like that. So yeah, I think that Jasmine might get hit a little bit more. I think she does get hit a little bit more. So, that's what'll make it a good fight, though. Let me check these comments here real quick. Let me see. Robot said Karina is cooked. Jasmine's too aggressive. Frankman said I got Jazzy by gritty decision. Axel said he got Jazzy. Okay, 2B said maybe Karina by sub due to Jasmine choosing to wrestle her. Axel said, yeah, they won't call out Manon. Frankman said Macy would have to beat either Manon, Aaron, or Jasmine to get a title shot. I would say Manon or Aaron, but not even Jasmine at this point. Robot said, what happens if Macy loses to Grasso? She's been calling her out for a while. I believe a healthy Grasso wins. Yeah, I still think a healthy Grasso will win that fight because I think Natalia Silva's style was trouble for Grasso for several reasons, because just her movement and the kicks and the angles, that pressure of taking that big fight. But Macy, I think her style kind of plays more into Grasso. Like there's not as much to figure out when it comes to speed or, just what to expect. Frank Mr. Jazzy was too cautious against Manon. Yeah. Yeah, she kind of started off slow. MMA Art said Grasso is the last winnable fight for Macy and it's 50-50. If she gets past Grasso, she'll lose to whoever fights next. I agree with that. Yeah. Montu said, I ain't fading Karina against Jazzy. Karina Silva got busy on the ground, was constantly hunting for subs as soon as it hits the ground floors. He said should be some really intricate jujitsu offenses and defensive exchanges. There's both pretty vicious once they get their favorite positions. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, yeah, Jazzy, when she starts getting into a groove with her raw, like physical style, but Karina likes that. Karina might have, yeah, like the more I think about it, like Karina would definitely have a chance. Like Karina won't be helpless off her back. That's the thing. Like some fighters, when they're on their back, they're helpless. Like I think Karina would be a little bit more dangerous. Um, she did get a good takedown on Macy Barber in that third round. She did pick her up. Like she got that double leg, or she hoisted up Macy Barber, but she didn't really do much off of that. G Frank said this was close. I'm gonna go with Jazzy due to Karina doing something low IQ. Oh yeah, definitely got a low IQ with some poor choices in there. Karina and Natalia were my girls to make it. At least Karina got ranked, and Natalia's fighting for the title soon. Yeah, they were two of mine, and I had Lipsky in there, but Lipsky's gone now. Natalia had better footwork than Alexa. It shuts down boxers. That's why she struggled against Rose. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but this fight, it should be like interesting here. I think this one's just to really keep them in that mid-rank float. And if Jasmine can bounce back with this one, I think honestly, yeah, whoever wins this, they should fight like maybe Rose if Rose is still around, or fight the loser of Macy and Grasso. That would be an ideal fight. Like give them a former champion in Grasso. If she loses against Macy, if Macy loses, she needs to fight. Well, Jasmine, because they already fought. Macy's already fought Karina, I think. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna hold out on this one. Still got another 2 months, but I could see Karina, yeah, Karina can pin her opponent down and attack from the guard position. She has decent sweeps from the guard. Yeah, yeah. I mean, she's a really, really solid practitioner when it comes to her jujitsu, but this MMA thing, man, she's got to really start being able to mix it up and be a little bit more unpredictable, you know? Yeah. So yeah, last thing on tonight's schedule. Yeah, I think at this point, man, I'm just kind of looking at Natalia Silva's moves and the fight against Rose. Honestly, to me, Natalia Silva had done enough. Okay, like we gonna keep going round and round with this one. We keep saying, oh, Aaron would, Aaron's earned this, or Aaron deserves it at this point. No, like when it comes down to it, Natalia's done enough. Like to me, Natalia's on lock for the title shot. And let's be honest, styles make fights. Styles make fights, and at some point, if you make a fighter continue to fight 6, 7, 8 fights in a row, one of them is not going to look as pretty as the next because not everybody fights the same. And if you do put Rose in front of somebody, it's going to be a complicated fight, or it's going to be a test. It's not going to look the same as an Andrade or a Grasso fight. But I think, when it came to that 7th fight, she was done, ready, but they offered her another fight, and she said, you know what, she'll take it. She took it kind of on short notice, and it opened up some. It was probably more of a blessing in disguise, right? Because now she got to see some things that she needed to work on. Natalia got a chance to say, okay, this right here that I had trouble with in this fight is something I need to work on before I go into a Valentina fight. And that's what we always say, like, want to see people tested, right? Want to see people go in there and work on some weaknesses. But if it goes the other way around, if Natalia went in there and just blew out Rose, people say, oh, that was no test. She's not ready. You know what I mean? So it's like, which is it? What do people want? Do they want to see a fighter get tested? Or do you want to just see somebody blow somebody out and then you call them a nobody? You know what I mean? Like, oh, if she beat Rose or knocked her out, Rose had no business being in there with her. So I just see it as like another fight that she didn't really need, but it turned out being a fight that she needed, if that makes sense. And I think that what she kind of learned from it, she's gonna come in here against Valentina, and I'm definitely not saying she's gonna go in there and beat her because we we we, we seen Valentina like just go back to basics on fighters and own them. But I think this fight definitely does benefit her more. It definitely does benefit her more than now that I saw it than just kind of waiting on the sideline because wait on the sideline for Valentina for 8, 9 months. You don't really get to do anything or even get tested, but at least you got tested against Rose and you got something to kind of go off of. You got a better fight to gauge yourself off of. So to me, yeah, it was good that she took this fight. It was good that she took this fight instead of just sitting. Yeah, it kind of put her uh streak in danger, but sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to do that. G Frame said, true or false, Rose was Natalia's toughest opponent on paper, regardless of how the actual fight went. Um, let's see. I'd say true. I'd say true. Let me see. Yeah, I would say true. I'd definitely say true. Matu said Valentina proved she can pin shorties down with Grasso and Wei Lee. She proved she can attack from the top position. Valentina looking to finish the fight with Natalia. If she doesn't get a finish, I think she'll 50-45. I think she could 50-45 it. I think if she come in with that wrestling game, she'd be like, you try to put that speed on me, I'm gonna control you. Because Valentina ain't been playing lately. I don't mean in like this aggressive approach either. I mean, when Valentina's got a plan, she's gonna stick with it. She don't care what the crowd is saying. She gonna be like, hey, yo, y'all shut up. I'm doing my thing. Y'all can't do this. Same thing like when she fought Grasso. People didn't like the third fight on how she, how she just big sister Grasso in the third fight. But hey, she got the victory. I mean, she controlled the fight. So, I mean, same thing with Wei Lee. She took Wei Lee to school in that fight, 50-45. And I didn't really expect to finish in that one. Kind of the same deal with this one. I don't really expect to finish in this one. I don't really expect her to go in there and finish Natalia. If it comes, it comes. If it comes, it comes. G Franks, I would have said false before the fight due to Rose's record, but compared to the rest of Natalia's opponents, I have to say true also. Yeah, definitely. Because her and Andrade, they split a fight. Andrea Lee, she was on like a big losing streak. I know. Yeah. Viviane Arujo, I would say, was probably like her toughest durable customer. Who else was there? But yeah, just when you look at like accolades and everything, say Rose, yeah, because she did touch a strap. Might have been strawweight, but yeah, she was a champion. And she was holding her own against like the mid-rank fights, whether it be a Miranda, Tracy, or Ebos, but she would lose to like the elite fighters. But even in the elite fights, she went the distance. She went the distance with them. Montua said Valentina is going to tackle Natalia through that cage. Todd Johnson said Valentina is too skilled for these girls. Yeah, Valentina's just on another level with her skills, man. Like, I mean, there comes a point where you just have to give her credit. Like, there's a better crop of flyweights than maybe 4 or 5 years ago, which I do like these new flyweights because I think that you'll still see some of these girls come back and possibly win the belt even if if Valentina retires, I could still see some of these girls be champion. Like even Fior, Silva, Blanchfield. If they can't beat Valentina, they still are high level fighters that can start their own legacy. And if Valentina retires, they could definitely win that strap. And there could be some fighters like Fiora that would keep it, you know. Um, and they could rematch. They can rematch because I see Fiora coming back for a rematch at some point. But some of these other girls, man, like the older ones, the older title defenses like Andrade. Ain't it funny? Like Chikagan, Lauren Murphy, Jennifer Maya, none of them ever got back to a shot. They all went on like this win streak, but none of them could ever get back to like a credible position to fight for the belt again. Even Jennifer Maya, like to me, Jennifer Maya, she was like at that one point, Valentina's most competitive fight, if you want to call it that. I mean, it was like what, 4 rounds to 1, but she was still solid, and I thought she still has a good, well-rounded game where she could beat some of these other girls and go back in there and fight Valentina. Because I remember there was a point where Jennifer Maya was like, "Oh, I want a rematch with Valentina," but when she fought Chikagan again, she loses. So there's something about some of these girls that I don't know if they just like when they get a shot, they get that release, and then they're like, "Okay, I'm done." They just don't have that same hunger anymore. They just don't have that same hunger. But it's like some of these girls now, I think they do. Because even Aaron, like Aaron lost she lost that Fior fight, but she's fighting her way back up again. She hasn't really gotten discouraged. Even Fior, she hasn't gotten discouraged. I mean, she comes back, knocks out Jasmine, holding on her spot, and she wants to fight again. I think the same thing with Natalia. If Natalia loses this fight, I think she'll still be around. So I think some of these girls, like 3 or 4 of them, there's still like a toughness in them and hunger that is different than like the past title defense reign for Valentina. Because none of them girls ever got back into a position for a title, man. None of them did. I thought somebody was gonna pull like a Robert Whitaker, maybe put 2-3 wins together, fight Izzy again, like Izzy did. Izzy and Robert Whitaker did, but nobody did. Because eventually, they start losing other people. It's like they can't get their groove back. Franklin said bad move on the UFC not re-signing Maya. Yeah, that was a bad move. I don't even know why. Like they didn't even consider that. They just like, nope. Tyler Santos, didn't even seem like they wanted her back. So Matua said, when you think Valentina retires, she doesn't seem to be slowing down. Valentina doesn't really show any interest in retiring. She said, like, she doesn't think she'll retire anytime soon. But if I had to put my guess on it, I would probably give her like another 3-4 years, honestly. As long as she's winning. I think as long as she's winning and she doesn't miss a step, I think that Valentina will continue fighting, because she said it herself, like, I don't see myself quitting it anytime soon. And I think, once you live and breathe fighting like she does, compared to even some of these younger girls, nah, she ain't going nowhere right now. Like, there's still some big fights out there. Like, owning flyweight for the second time around means a lot to her. But there are some other fights out there I think they would try to make. Like, yeah, Amanda Nunes. That Kayla Harrison fight, I don't know if they would really make that, but Valentina would have to be selling out for that one, honestly, like to try to make that freak show fight. To me, I don't think that would be a good look on Valentina against Kayla. But yeah, I just think that, yeah, the Nunes fight could be real. But even if that didn't happen, she would try to go on another tear at flyweight and beat all these girls. She's something about, I think she low key want to whoop Macy Barber though. That's just me. Like, I think she probably want that Macy Barber fight at some point just to kind of teach Macy a lesson. Her and Aaron is a good matchup. Like if Aaron can go on a good win streak or a tear, that's a good fight. Of course, this Natalia fight's good. There's a Manon rematch. That'd be like the first fighter she would actually rematch on a win streak of title defenses. Her and Grasso, of course, they fought 3 times, but this would be like that one where somebody fought back into that position. But yeah, yeah, I don't see her going anywhere. Val is not leaving anytime soon. Nah, nope. I agree with Mike. Nope. Frank said I don't see Valentina beating Nunez or Kayla. Yeah, I don't see the Kayla fight something she could win. Like technique, she's got the best technique, but when you start talking just like strength level and size out the door, sometimes that'll just like overpower. Bia Mosquito beats Kayla right now, Montua said. Bia Mosquito got big in that last fight. She's put on some muscle, man. And Bia Mosquito is a bad girl on the ground, man. Bia Mosquito is lined up to fight Montserrat Rendon March 14th. Yeah. Yeah, she's got to fight Frankman. Yeah. Montserrat Rendon March 14th. Montserrat lost to that. No, Montserrat beat that one Alice Pieta girl. That might be a winnable fight for Bia, I think. Rendon, I mean, I've been kind of hard on her too, but that last fight, man, it was crazy. It was like that big girl, like Pieta just kept running from her. Franklin said Eileen Perez is the biggest wild card. I don't care for Eileen Perez as far as like, her twerking antics, but I got to give her credit. Like Eileen Perez is an improving fighter. She is an improving fighter. Speaking of bantamweight, I think low key Norma and Yana might be in the works. I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's official or anything like that. I'm just saying that could be in the works. Unfortunately, Yana wanted Pena, but Pena ain't in the business of, Pena ain't in the business of fighting contenders anymore. She wants championship fights. Eileen should move to flyweight. Should she? Should she though? I mean, does she? How big is she? Like really? Like I mean, walking around weight. Should she be a flyweight? She's got her four or five 4 or 5 fight win streak, I believe. So maybe she should stick it around at bantamweight. I don't think she beats Kayla, but yeah. Yeah, I say that too, Montua. Like, girl's a drama girl. Like, girl, like she's got Twitter fingers, big time. But when she balls them Twitter fingers up, they turn into some hands, and she's got a good work ethic. I'll give her that. She's hard working in that cage. When she start fighting, I do not put that down. Like, it won't affect my pick on her. Like, definitely. Like, I like to call fights only. I don't care about, what you don't dislike. Like there's things I dislike about fighters, but when it comes down to skills, yeah, she's definitely like holding her own as a threat right now. I think her and Misha Tate would be a good fight. Until she can get like a top 2 or 3. Who is Eileen Perez fighting next? Macy Chase on too, right? She could get that fight. Macy Chesson, I like Macy, but Macy sometimes, she's kind of having a rough up and down period, and she's on a back-to-back losing streak to Ketlin and Yana right now. This is kind of like a moment where Eileen Perez could step in. Eileen done beat 5 in a row. Pudilova, Edwards, Zelesnikova, Rosa, Ashley Evans Smith. Yeah. Yeah, she could. She lost her UFC debut, but she cleaned up since then. So Macy, man. I don't know, man. Yeah, that's a winnable fight. Irene Aldana, I don't know. Misha Tate was, I believe, she's still on her. Yeah, Misha Tate's number 13 still. That's why I put that name out there. Yeah, Irene Aldana, I don't know. Jacqueline Cavalcanti called her out. She did call her out. So if they made that fight, I'd be like, okay, that's a good fight. MMA Arts, I hope they make Pena versus Myra Bueno Silva. Oh man, that would be crazy. That's who Pena needs to fight. Like Pena holding that spot down. She need to be punished to fight MBS. That's gonna be a violent fight right there. That's the fight they need to make. Todd said, with all due respect, Valentina beat Nunes in the second fight. Everyone knows it. I'm about to watch that fight again. It's been a long time. Macy Chiasson might get cut after her next fight. Yeah, because this is gonna be her third. It'll be her third loss in a row. Yep. Yeah. Oh, they did announce it today. Yeah, because I found out 2 days ago, Frank, that Dumont and Santos was in the work. I just didn't want to say nothing yet, but oh, it's already been announced today. Okay, I've been trying to hold out here. Hold on. Hold on. Just a second. I won't see it there. Oh, okay, but okay, it has been announced though. Okay. Well, neither one of them gets Rocky or Pena. They don't get that spot. I think the winner, I think the winner of Yana and Norma. What do y'all think though? Look, do y'all disagree with this? If Norma wins or Yana wins, they need to be ranked over Rocky at this point or Pena. They need to knock Pena and Rocky down at least 2 or 3 spaces and let the winner outrank them at this point. I'm just saying, like, you gotta if you're inactive, you gotta kind of stand down, right? If Yana wins, Yana deserves the 3 spot, knock Rocky and or Pena down under her at this point. If Norma wins, clearly, she needs to be over Rocky and Pena at this point, because if they're out with injuries, you got to drop them down. Yeah, inactive fighters shouldn't hold up a spot. Yeah. Montel said Norma should go up if she wins, but if Yana wins, she doesn't go up. If Yana wins, yeah, she should go up. You don't think they'll move her up, or she shouldn't? Yeah, because she should. Yeah, same thing with Colby Covington. Like, when was his last fight? Yeah, the last time I saw Norma in her interview, I think we talked about that a couple weeks ago. She seemed a little frustrated. I mean, her last performance against Ketlin wasn't a spirited performance, but she has been putting in work, because when the UFC was calling her to fight at featherweight, she fight at featherweight. When they ranked her at bantamweight, she was there. They kind of been throwing her around a lot, Montua said Yana's a blase of a fighter. Don't tell BJ that. I think she's gotten better. I'll say that. Like, I was where you were maybe like 3-4 years ago, but honestly, I think Yana is actually better than she was. Like, I got to give a little bit more credit in her last 2-3 performances, or maybe 2. Because I was exactly there too, man. I was like, I ain't big on Yana, especially that Yana Ketlin fight. That was not a good fight. But her last couple fights, she's looked all right. I do look, before they retire, I just want to see that matchup between Norma and Kayla, how it goes. I mean, Kayla's got a good chance of winning, but still, I just want to see that fight. Who should Ketlin fight next? Ketlin is number 4, right? Let's see. If Eileen Perez beats Macy Chiasson, I think Eileen should call out Ketlin. That would be a good fight. Or, I keep saying, no, not Pena. Ketlin and Kel Rosa. Ketlin needs to fight down too. Ketlin should fight Kel Rosa, or she should fight Eileen Perez if Eileen beats Macy Chiasson. Yeah, 2B said no more interim belts, not a real belt. My second biggest pet peeve. Yeah, I don't think there's any reason for one right now at bantamweight. You know, I know that they've gone on record to say Kayla versus Nunes is being rescheduled as we speak, or as of right now, it's being rescheduled. But I'm like, how long is that going to be? Because Kayla's had a neck injury. I might have to talk about this fight in a video because it's just like Kayla, man. Like, is she going to be the same Kayla after a neck surgery like this, herniated disc, and the neck? I don't know. Yeah, you forgot about Carol Rosa. Yeah, Carol Rosa. Between Carol Rosa and Ketlin, don't really hear much. And the thing about Carol Rosa, she's been in the UFC like 7 years. I want to say 7 years, right? I think since what? 2016, 2019 now. Yeah, she been in the UFC about 7 years now. Closer to a decade now. Yeah, 2019. Yep. Carol Rosa been in the UFC about 7 years. So um Frankman said they can't keep Amanda on ice, give her somebody in the meantime. Well, you're gonna hate it, Frankman, but it's not the UFC's doing. Amanda don't want to fight anybody else. Amanda said, number one, I ain't fighting for no interim belt. Number two, she said, I didn't come back for anybody else except Kayla. Number three, she said, I ain't fighting Pena. So Nunes, she's waiting. Nunes came back. I knew Nunes just came back strictly for this fight. Nunes ain't fighting nobody. So we got to take it up with Nunes because she said, I ain't fighting nobody. She's like, I don't want your interim belt either. She was like, I want the big dog belt. Now if Kayla had to vacate, I think she would fight somebody for it. Like if Kayla just couldn't come back for like a year or two, she probably would. But even then, I don't know. She might just say, "Hey, let Norma and Eileen fight for it or something." Franklin said they can't keep a man on ice. Yeah, Montu said, "What was the extent of that neck surgery?" Um, they said in a training like she has a herniated disc in her neck, and they found out kind of last minute, like that week or so before the fight. And yeah, she had the neck brace and everything. Like I didn't go get a chance to see like the details of it. I got to go back and look, but it was pretty serious. It was pretty serious, they said. Serious to the point that it could have paralyzed her. Let me just put it that way. That's the extent of the surgery. Like the surgery had to happen. Robot said, "What's the update on?" I don't know. I don't know the update on it right now. I know at this point she is healing, but it was to the point of maybe like paralysis that was being thrown out there. So I was kind of like, wow, how did they let this go on that long? Or maybe they didn't know. I don't know. Frankman said Kayla won't be back for another year. Yeah. Cause Tatiana, y'all remember Tatiana, neck injury, hand injury. She was out for 6 years. Yeah, Mike Lee said it really sucks to hold a division up for close to a year or more. Yeah, that's why I said at that point, we don't even need no interim belt. Just vacate that belt and let your top two or three, whatever, fight for the vacant belt. 2B said interim is nothing but a marketing place, so the UFC van call it a title fight. Yeah. Yeah. I was trying to catch dang 2B. What happened to your connection last night? I was trying to catch the Rear Naked Smoke episode. I was messing with BJ. I said 2B's got that no filter MMA connection. Cause when we be doing the show, BJ be over there staticking up, sound like he on two paper cups or something. Sound like he doing Morse code sometime. BJ sound like he be tapping in the mic and all I hear is static. I couldn't even hear Two Beats' take yesterday. Y'all got to do that show again or something, man, because I wanted to hear your take on Natalia Silva moving forward with the fight, but I don't know. I couldn't hear anything. Got to run that back. Yeah. I don't think Kayla's faking the injury. No, not at all. Tom too. I don't think Tom is either, man. Tom was that hand. No, man, like you get a heavyweight finger in your eye, man. That big old sausage finger poke you in your eye, man. Shoot, you get poked in the eye with just a regular. It don't matter, baby finger or whatever. Shoot, eyelash hurts. An eyelash hurts, So I can imagine you get like an Aspinall index finger in your eye. Asp, I mean, Cirogon. Yeah, you get a Cirogon index finger through your eye, man. Shoot, I'd be down crying. Anybody got a problem with that? I'd be like, man. Yeah, my I say eyelash hurt, man. Like I need a mirror right away. Like if I'm in the car driving, shoot, I'm gonna have to pull over because that hurts. But you get a finger in your eye, imagine that. And that's what's up. He said, bro was stuck in the twilight zone. Oh, you talking about two beats? He said I was literally using the same equipment. It might have been. I, yeah, yeah, maybe it was yours. I don't know. I was gonna say maybe it was BJ's, but I could hear him. Cyril Gahn is a notorious foul machine. You say he's a foul machine. Dang, they got rid of Almeida too, huh? They cut Almeida. Almeida be kind of boring though sometimes. I ain't gonna lie, man. Like Almeida, he do be a little boring. I remember Curtis Blaze put him out. Curtis Blaze put him out with just like hammer fist. His whole body fell over. Paul, what's going on, man? Good to see y'all back. It's been, like I said, been about a year since, not a year, been a month since I did this show. Franklin said McKenzie got a chance against Whaley. Oh boy. All right. Let me answer this question. McKenzie got a chance against Whaley. I think that number one, I think, every fighter has a chance in MMA. I think that McKenzie is going to prepare. I think McKenzie's going to prepare like she never has before. Um, I think that what she said before was, probably her being humble as far as, not being, ready for like a Whaley fight. But I think if they do sign that fight, I think she will prepare 100% for it. I think that after watching that Verna fight, she has taken like her offense and, her striking to a better level. I'm not saying like, oh, it's this great level, but I saw her be a little bit more patient. She wasn't as reckless. So I think the McKenzie that'll fight Whaley does have a higher chance than I used to think. But I still think Whaley's got more than enough to beat her. I think she's still got more than enough to beat her. But the thing about Dern is, she won't quit. She won't quit. And when you put together like her jujitsu and just like her leg attack and just like her aggression, it could lead to two things. It could lead to her getting caught and maybe getting knocked out again. But put those things together against, a returning Whaley that might underestimate her. I think Dern, might be able to go in there and put something together and maybe get like a submission. Like I think Mackenzie Dern's biggest chance of beating Zhang Wei is looking for a finish. I don't think Mackenzie Dern wins a decision against Wei. I think Wei Lee's built for decision. I think she's built for finishes. I think she's built for all kinds. I think Wei Lee's just one of the better, well-rounded fighters at strawweight. She's proven that. She's fought so many styles. She's gone many around. McKenzie, on the other hand, like the longer you go with some champions like that, the more you give that person the chance to adapt to you. But I think McKenzie, her best chance is to do like Juliana Pena did against Amanda Nunes. You're not as good as that person, but you got to fight that person with your dog. Like you go back to that fight, Amanda Nunes. I know people say, oh, Amanda Nunes didn't train this and that, but Pena came ready. Pena's limited, but she came ready. So I think the thing about Dern is just come ready with what she has and just kind of use that to kind of rattle your your opponent's rhythm. if that makes sense. So I think that Dern's chances has gotten higher, but I would still favor Wei Lee. I'd still favor Wei Lee. But I mean, if you're talking game plan, I think Wei Lee needs to fight to come up with a game plan to finish. Dern needs to fight with a game plan to beat Wei Lee. It needs to be like a submission. He needs to go for a submission or something like that. Because yeah, like Verna's a different style. Like Verna kept folding to me. Verna kind of folded in the exchanges on the ground and on the feet, but Whaley's a little different than that. Whaley's built for 5-round fights and knows how to adjust. So um, I think it would be a better fight than before when Dern didn't have the belt. I think this belt did wake something up in Dern. It's probably gonna shock a lot of people how well she does in there. I hope. Mike Lee said, "Can Tabitha beat Verna?" I think Tabitha has a chance. Like I'm not trying to put Verna down now, but you know, when Verna kind of turns it off, I think Tabitha, she's good on the ground too. She's got jujitsu too. But I think she could, but I still think Verna, she still knows how to fight some of these shorter fighters. She still knows how to fight some of these shorter fighters. I think she kind of falls into this same rhythm of Dern where she respects her a little too much. I don't know what it is. Like Verna's not really chinny, so I don't know why she doesn't go after those fights. But I think Verna has more than enough tools to beat Tabitha. Like Tabitha never really done anything special to me, but I don't know what Tabitha's been working on lately. Where Tabitha could maybe pull a Carla Esparza and try to out wrestle and neutralize because her jujitsu is good too, but um, I think she would really have to lay it all out. She would have to really lay it all out to get in there. To be said, I'll say it. I really like Dern as a person and a fighter. I'll definitely be rooting for her because I know a lot of people counted her out. Yeah, a lot of people count her out in that. I did pick Verna to win that fight, but I mean, yeah, now people are counting her out. But yeah, don't really have anything against Mackenzie Dern as like a person. Like she's a fun fighter to watch, and I can't really get mad at her for playing the game and winning the belt, Not at all. Yeah, Frank, I meant to mention that. Yeah, Tisha Torres did retire. Like Tisha Torres, it's crazy they didn't really make a bigger deal about it. Like, well, I mean, it is WMMA. They don't really do that, but they did mention when uh Michelle Waterson retired or something like that. So yeah. Todd say your content is unprecedented, my brother. Oh, I appreciate it, man. I always appreciate you, man. Yeah, Tisha Torres, I'm gonna have to do a video on that because yeah, Tisha was one of my favorite fighters. Like she's one of the fighters that did get me into WMMA. I mean, you go all the way back to Invicta, like when she was beating these girls in Invicta, like when she first beat Rose and Paige Van Zant and all of them, and she was in the Tough House like 12 years ago. Like I used to like her style. Like she wasn't knocking people out, but I was just kind of a fan of her style, and I liked how these girls were fighting. You know what I mean? Like she kind of fought different than it. I just found it more entertaining even then than women's boxing. Let me put it that way. Like I used to look at women's boxing when I watched regular boxing, and I was like, sometimes it just don't deliver at the time. But when I saw, like Tisha and these other girls fighting, it was almost the same as the men. They were putting forth that effort and they were exciting. So Tisha, she was like one of them tough girls. Like this girl fought Marina, Andrade, Joanna, Wei Lee, all four of them back to back, and still didn't get finished by any of them. You know, so Tisha, she's gone on fought some good fighters, but she just always kind of lacked something. But one thing she didn't lack was heart. Mazua said Big Mac ain't gonna Debo Whaley on the floor like Valentina did. Oh, not at all. Dern's gonna backpack her. She gets a chance. Yeah, that's gonna be her best chance is to get the fight on the get it to the ground and get Whaley's back or get Whaley's arm or her neck. I remember when Lamos almost got Whaley's neck. Tabitha got this fight she's been building for a while now, and she's the fastest strawweight. Is she the fastest? Um, Manasseh said she ain't faster than Yasmin Haurigi. She's not, but I think that Tabitha's a little better when it comes to like well-rounded skills. Think about Yasmin, man. Yasmin, man, she gotta protect that chin, man. She gotta protect that chin moving forward, like her skills. She's got the man. She's got to. When's her next fight, man? Where is Yasmin? Dang. Wow. But yeah, man. Been a good show. Want to wrap this thing up. I appreciate y'all for coming through. You know, been like I said about a month since I jumped on and did the old 99 talks. But I'll be back a little bit more consistent. I just been busy, like I said, man. Try to be back to doing this at least, every 2 weeks, along with the mashup. Well, I'll be live tomorrow with BJ from No Filter MMA. We're gonna chop it up on some things because we want to talk about some other fights and stuff. But yeah, stuff is starting to pick up too during the spring here. So yeah, I don't know. For me, man, like wintertime is just like a depressing time. Not where I'm like depressed or anything, but it's just like a lot going on. And when you're dealing with the cold weather, it puts you in a funk sometimes, Too much, I've been dealing with snow like the past few days and stuff, past few weekends and working. So it's like, dang, man. A month passed by. I was like, I didn't even know I've been off that long from doing the show. But yeah, good, good to be back. Glad y'all came through. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I always respect y'all's opinions, man, and takes, but we'll talk a little bit more tomorrow if y'all want to come through. Mike Lee said, thanks. Yeah, for sure. Robot said, get some hot chocolate. I'll probably get some. I just drank a smoothie, so I won't be drinking no hot chocolate. I don't even think I have any. Mike Lee says, called cabin fever. Oh, I do take vitamin D, and I've been out. I've been out every day because I, work. I don't work from home. I work out. I go out every day. It ain't even cabin fever. It's that seasonal depression that people call it. Seasonal depression. That's what I get whenever winter comes around. Because I'm just not a winter person. When I was a kid, I was because you get out of school, but I just can't do it anymore. I like Pierre Rodriguez. Yeah, no problem, Manasseh. But yeah, on that note, good to be back. I will catch y'all tomorrow. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. For some of y'all new folks in here, subscribe if y'all want some updates on WMMA. I usually post in the community post too on some fights coming up. And I'll drop a few videos today and tomorrow too, because I've been out for like a week, I think. Yeah, so other stuff I want to talk about. Seasonal depression is whack. Yeah, you got to stay motivated. Yeah. Yeah, shoveling snow and ice ain't cute, man. It ain't never been cute. I'm gonna throw some salt out there. That's about it. Yeah, 2B said winter, the reason I ran to South Florida. I still haven't been down to Florida, but yeah, I'm gonna have to maybe run down there and just get a feel of the weather. Because I fall in that area where you get just enough snow to kind of tick you off. Like I don't get Chicago cold or anything like that, but I just don't like 20s or teens. But yeah, I'll catch y'all later. If not, come on through Saturday. We're gonna watch this Juju and Crispy fight. I'm sure we're gonna get a fireworks type of matchup. And on that, I am out. Peace. Yeah.